Well, this was such an important project that I did something I had never done before, and I actually had a focus group check this out. So I had a group of people who were already on my list, already purchased from me, and I wanted to send it out just to see what they thought. I didn't want to preconceive their answers or anything like that. I just wanted to say, hey, here it is. And they invested in it too. It was not a freebie. But this focus group took a lot of time and got a lot of feedback. It was beautiful. I really appreciate it. And the feedback that surprised me was three things. And number one, it's a unique program where inside you see there's 10 DVDs, but I also put in audio CDs. And I did that for the purpose of this, is that I wanted to create a product that's transformational. In order to do that, two things have to occur, especially for a speaking education product. Number one, people need to see it. There are certain things that can be learned by hearing it, but I think for humor and for advanced presentation skills, it really needs to be seen because you need to see that body language. So this program kind of followed How to Own the Stage, a program that I put together similarly, which has the videos and the audios. And I want people to, A, they need to see it, but B, they also need to hear it over and over and over again so it sinks into their subconscious and becomes part of who they are. So I was really psyched to get the feedback that people loved that. People liked having both. It's really unique. I don't know of anyone else who is doing it, though there may be some out there. The other piece of feedback was the audios weren't perfect. The video came out great. The audios are good, but there are some times, like at the very beginning on the first couple of CDs, we forgot to hand the microphone around. So people were answering, but we didn't have them mic'd, or asking questions, we didn't have them mic'd. And then eventually, we caught on. So after like the second or third CDs, then you can hear them. We made sure they had that in their hand, but it's funny because the perception is that because the first couple of CDs, you can't hear the questions. People flavor it with the whole thing. They say all the CDs. It's really only the first couple. So that was interesting feedback, but absolutely relevant. So some of the audios, the volume fluctuates a little bit. That's, hey, it's not a perfect world, and I'm just telling you the feedback that I got. So that was one. And then the other one was kind of a risk. It's funny, even Craig Valentine was concerned with this, but he didn't want to tell me until after I started getting feedback. The way we set it up is like you're right there at the event. So I give them exercises to do. So I explain the exercise. Then the boot campers, there was 44 people there live. The boot campers go and actually hear the instructions and go do the exercise. So I give them 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, depends on the exercise. And then they get up and they perform it live in front of their fellow boot campers, so you can see and they can test it out right there. Now you create something in 15, 10, 20 minutes, you go up and you experiment and you get some laughs, even if it's not huge, right away, and that's huge. That does a lot for your belief personally. But now the problem is, now when you're doing the home study course, you lose that element. So what I did is that on the DVDs I actually built in the same time that you actually get the exercise, and then you get the same amount of time as people who are at the live event to do the exercise. And I think people were concerned that, well, people are just going to fast forward through it. Well, go ahead, but that's silly. The whole point of learning a home study is to change your thinking. So would you agree that funny people think differently? And if you do agree that funny people think differently, that if you want to get more laughs, you have to think more like funny people. So the purpose of an educational tool is to change and adjust your thinking like those who are experts in the field. So you can't do that just by listening. There has to be some experience that helps you get it, so to speak. Make it clear that you get it. So I thought that it may be a risk, or people might not like it or be annoyed that they have to watch through the whole time. Well, obviously they can fast forward if they want, but that would be really missing the point if you're going to skip through that time, and I think it's crazy. So I said, no, I'm going to set it up this way. Let me see what people think. And the great feedback that I got is that those exercises built in for people watching at home actually felt like they were more at the boot camp. And I loved hearing that. That was great. That's exactly what I wanted. So it was a little bit of a risk, but really, I'm glad I did it that way, because I think it makes it more of a change and more of an education in the listener's mind and the watcher's mind. So again, audios weren't perfect. It's unique where people like the video and the audio, so they could not only see it but then reinforce the learning over and over again. And then at the same time, the exercises that actually you watch what they watch, and then you experience what the live boot campers experience, where you get a certain amount of time to do the exercise. And people love the idea of having a humor buddy to go through the program with them, because it's truly through that experience and support from someone else you can actually be more creative. So that's some of the feedback that surprised me. But who knows what else.